Viewers, you're welcome to another edition of Cybersecurity for Beginners. My name remains Vincent Hope. Today, we're going to be talking about de-authentication attack. Now, what is de-authentication attack? In the previous lesson, before we could capture the network traffic, we had to log off the Wi-Fi and reconnect to get the four-way handshake. But that is not a very effective way. The most effective way to be able to capture network traffic is using the de-authentication attack. And what does that mean? It simply means that you will use commands to send frames or send instructions to the network to disconnect, and as soon as it reconnects immediately, you capture the network traffic. So let's give a definition or a background to it. Now, I said you don't have to wait for a new network to be connected to get four-way attack. This disconnects devices already connected to the network by sending the authentication frames to these devices. So that is what a de-authentication attack is. It sends these authentication frames to devices connected to the network so that the devices can be disconnected. For example, disconnecting a laptop or a client system from a Wi-Fi network. Naturally, these devices will have to reconnect. Then the AeroDump tool captures the four-way handshake, which is still what we want to capture. We want to capture the four-way handshake, which is the network traffic. Now, the attacker uses the network device MAC address to send the authentication frames to these devices. Now, there is no way to verify if the authentication frames are coming from the router or an attacker. Now, so let's jump right into it and see how this works. So let's first go to our network. So to capture the four-way handshake network traffic using the authentication attack, first we confirm if the device is on monitor mode, our network device. So if we type IP, let's click here properly, IPA, and we press enter, we can see that it is on our LAN is on monitor mode, WLAN monitor mode. Now, since it's on monitor mode, now we run the AeroDump command. So we run the AeroDump command. So what is the AeroDump command? Sudo AeroDump-ng WLAN monitor mode, and we press enter. Now, when we press enter, what I want us to first note before we come to this point here, if we check our network connectivity, is actually on TechnoSpark. But let us run the let's change it first. This network connectivity, let's change it to Dominion, and we click connect. We want to capture the details of Dominion and run the authentication attack on Dominion. Now, let's see how it connects. Okay, fine. Now, so the network is connected to Dominion. Now, our Dominion has been traced here. Look at it, Dominion is on channel 6, and this is this MAC address. So I said I'll press Ctrl+C to quit it. So what I need to do now is to copy this. I highlight this here, this MAC address for Dominion, right click and click copy selection. Remember, the channel number is on channel 6. Now I will now run the AeroDump command specific to this Dominion, because on the network, Dominion is the network being run. So I want to run this AeroDump command specific for this MAC address. So I'll run that using this. Okay, sudo, not this, sudo, where is my AeroDump command? Okay, let me just simply type it. I normally store them, but let me see if I don't get it. Okay, this is the AirPlay. I want to get it clear. Okay, so let me just simply type it, sudo ng. Now let's get the command. Let me open our documentation so that we properly see what we are running. We open the documentation on our capturing. Okay, let me expand it here. So this is the code we're supposed to run. Sudo aerodump.nt bssid, the MAC address, C11, C, the channel number, right into a particular file name. So if I come here, I simply come here, aerodump -ng dash bssid. Look at it, I was already opened up. So when I press to this point, so sudo aerodump bssid, this was what I was looking for, 98A9, which is exactly this, 423EAD6F. Now the channel number is 11 here, but here is on channel 6, so I'm going to change that. When I used it in earlier, I'll change that. So I say channel 6, I remove, then write it to a particular file called I come here, call it file handshake, or let's say file connect. Let's call it file connect. Run it to file connect. I want to store the data there, and you put your WLAN monitor mode. So let's go through the command again. Sudo aerodump -bssid 98, the MAC address, C-6C, which is the channel number, right to file connect. Or if it's too much, let me just put it file, taking it again. Okay, let me type it, sudo aerodump -ng bssid. Okay, look at it here. So I change this one back to channel 6, and I change this one back to, let's call this one lesson 10. Let's use lesson 10 as a file name, WLAN mode, and I press enter. So it captures the exact traffic of Dominion into what do you call it? We're trying to capture that into that file called lesson 10. Now remember, we're looking for the four-way handshake. It has not been captured. So what we simply do, we allow this one to keep running, go and open another file, another terminal, click here. Okay, so another terminal, let's click this one. This is another terminal. Then I'm going to run another, first convert it to use create a specific channel to carry out the function. So I said sudo configure it exactly for channel 6. WLAN, this is for channel 11. So I'm configuring the WLAN to work specifically for channel 6 so that there will be no distractions. I press enter, I type the password, I press enter. Now I'm there. So the next thing I need to do now, I will now run the AirPlay command, which does run the AirPlay command, which you type sudo AirPlay -ng is part of the ncrack suite. AirPlay-ng, let us get the correct command. AirPlay-ng the de-authentication command. So I will now type De-Authentication. I will put, let's say, 50 frames. I will now right click, put the MAC address -a, MAC address, sorry, put MAC address, placed it. This is the MAC address. Then make sure it is done on the WLAN 0 monitor mode. Let's confirm. Okay, you can say sudo airplay de-auth, then minus, which is -A, the access the MAC address, which is this, then the WLAN monitor mode. Now it is already there. Remember, we are still connected to Dominion. So now let's run this command. When we run this command, it will now begin to send the authentication packets to the Wi-Fi, and let's see if it's still connected. Now you can see now what you call it, the Dominion has been is trying to connect back, but it has now connected back to the TechnoSpark because of the authentication frames have disconnected the network. I hope you understand. Now this is connected by itself. If we go back to the command, the previous one is still running. Sorry, this is not the one we are looking for. Okay, it's still running. The W handshake have not been caught. So what do I have to do? If I come back here and I connect my Dominion and I connect, once I connect, it will capture the four-way handshake traffic, the network traffic. Then we can now use Wireshark to open it. So this is how you can use the authentication attack to capture four-way traffic. I hope you have understood it. So I simply now terminate this process. Since it has been captured, Control-C, I terminate. Then I use ls to confirm if the file is there. So you see it's lesson 10 0.cap. So you now use Wireshark as we did in the previous lesson to view the information. So this is how you use the authentication attack to be able to capture four-way handshake on a network traffic. I hope you have learned something.